Hey guys, really nice to be here. I'm Keith. I'm from NEXPACE. I'm a head of strategy. I'm currently working on MapleStory universe. And here's Alex.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Aleksander, the chairman and one of the co-founders of Sky Mavis, creators of Axie Infinity and Rona Network. Happy to be here.
Right, it's really exciting to be here, especially talking with you, Alex. You guys are the founders of this Web3 gaming genre. This is really crazy. I mean, coming from the Web2 background, we've been making Web2 games for around 20 years, 30 years actually, 20 years for MapleStory alone. Yeah, so it's really exciting to learn from you and share insights with you.
Thank you, Keith. I'm super excited to be here today and also to talk with you guys from MapleStory to see that you guys are actually building in Web3. So it's been a while since we first heard about it. So can you maybe tell me a little bit about that? Why is MapleStory building a blockchain game?
So why are we coming into the Web3 is really about to enhance and strengthen the success factors that made the Web2 MapleStory successful. Right. To say that, so we've observed that in the Web2 MapleStory, there are a lot of community activities around the MapleStory IP, and those were really the key drivers of MapleStory IP's expansion and growth. So what I mean by community activities around the IP is, for example, fan art, cosplay, streams, videos, and sometimes they make their own games using our IP. And I think these are really important in making our IP sustainable. But for the last 20 years of running this game in Web 2, these community activities were always unrecognized, always outside the official circle of MapleStory ecosystem. So by making a system with blockchain of recognizing the creators and contributors' efforts in expanding and growing our IP and rewarding them with our assets and ability to create items, I think we believe that we can make our IP much more sustainable. And we are starting our launch in early next year with our MapleStory N, which is the PC Web3 enabled MMORPG, MapleStory. And from there, we are expanding just like Axie Infinity universe. We are inviting creators and contributors to build their own DApps using our IP, and then allowing our NFTs, like characters and items, to be used in various different DApps. It could be, things like, MapleStory IP, Move to Earn, or it can be a casual game. It doesn't have to be as, heavy as a MMORPG, right? So it's diversification and allowing a lot of people, talented people, to come in, build, and be rewarded for it. I think this is the way forward.
Yeah, using your assets or building an emotional connection with your asset through many different experiences, I think really is the key. Right. And the fact is that you can expand upon everything that the Axie is doing, or for example, in our case, that you will be able to see everything that your asset has been doing over time, I think is very powerful.
Right, exactly. And for us, we're actually known for building a long-lasting MMORPG in the Web 2 space. So our take on the core of MMORPG has two parts. The first part is a social element, and the second part is a reward experience of users. So by reward experience, I mean, so MMORPG is about gearing up, getting a better gear, equipments, tracking down bigger and harder boss monsters, right? Mm-hmm. And in an upward cycle. But there's a social element to it. So this kind of growing experience is never done alone. This is always done in an online environment together with a lot of people. So these two cores are very important in success of MMORPG, and I believe blockchain technology can strengthen these two mechanisms in a way. So we are exposing the users into much more depth of social interactions, how people first meet, interact, and collect their assets, grow their assets. I mean, yeah, blockchain will, really strengthen the cores of the games, and it doesn't have to be, only for MMORPGs, I guess.
I would actually say that I think almost all blockchain games are MMOs by default, because the economies are open, and that is also why it's so difficult to make a great game.
Right.
And I think kind of going back to what you talked about, live operations is one of the most difficult things is basically telling people when, or I guess explaining to them why they should do something or why they should play the game, right? Or what's the purpose of the game. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see where the story goes, both for Axie and of course MapleStory, and if there might be something to do together in the future.
Exactly. So MapleStory Universe is actually our long roadmap. We would like to invite the NFT creators, different NFTs, other than MapleStory Universe NFTs to come in, and also allowing our NFTs to travel outside of our ecosystem. So it's really, I think, about removing the silos, allowing my assets, my characters to travel everywhere it wants to be. And I think, before all this concepts of Web3 gaming, there were, metaverse boom, right? Metaverse spring. Everybody was talking about building metaverse, but I think this is the real tangible shape of how, working metaverse might be in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger problems that we've seen in Web3, especially in Web3 gaming, is how just that there are few operators who have shipped games before, and of course also live operated them. But we're now getting to the point where there are serious actors also coming in, and the people that have been building in the space for several years, SkyMavis now coming up on 6 years, we're starting to get a lot of experience, we're starting to see a lot of data, and we're starting to understand more of what should the end game potentially look like. What is actually the possibilities of this technology? It's not only experimentation, even though I think experimentation is the key to drive innovation. I think that we're getting to the point where we might be able to do it in a more sustainable way. So I'm very excited about that for Axie as well moving forward.
Right. So in this way, I think blockchain is really, even coming from the Web 2 background, is going to push the boundaries of what what MMORPG stands for, what games stands for, and also what it means to play online game in general. So it's really upgrading experience. I mean, I think there are quite a lot of gamers who are quite, what's the right term for it? Quite a lot of people don't like Web3 that are infused with games. What's your take on this?
So I think it comes from a lack of understanding, and of course, that there are scammers and have been scammers in the space. But overall, I think we have a job to do as game developers to explain the benefits of Web3 more clearly. So what does it actually mean to own your game item? So looking at our motivation for building SkyMavis, we believe that players and people should own their own data. So whenever I'm using a platform like Facebook, I always believe that I should be the owner of that data. And by extension, that means that whenever I'm playing games, I should also own these game items and be able to use them for whatever I want moving forward. And the most important part for me was not necessarily to be able to sell them, but to be able to prove to others that I have actually been doing these things online. Because the internet is so fake, it's really hard to prove real things, but I think with blockchain, we can actually do that. And I think that's one of the benefits that is most often overlooked. But to me, one of the core tenets, and as to why I'm motivated to build in this space after such a long period of time.
I think we share a very similar vision. I totally agree with you. Users own ownership to their games and their items, and being able to build with whatever they have and expand the IP. I think that's the way forward for the blockchain games. And it's really about educating people or gamers on that. Blockchain is not trying to create a new type of game, but rather transforming and enhancing the current experience. And yeah, this is going to be really, really exciting.
And that's definitely true for Korean companies, right? Being on the forefront of Web 2 as well, and especially free to play. You guys have gone through this cycle before. So now that we see similar things happening in Web 3, to me it's a very positive sign, seeing big actors like Nexon or NEXPACE being a part of the industry. So yeah. It's good.
Awesome. All right, I think our time's about to go over. So, guys, Nexon will be around at the press room from 5 p.m. You can find us at the MapleStory PR room. I think it's nearby over there. Yeah, so please catch us there. And thank you so much, Alex, for speaking, coming out with me, sharing your insights.
Yeah,
really
thank you for having me.
Thank you.